revising the auction process for the main tier, because with low, extremely low wholesale prices, that differential between, the differential you need to get the developer to his number, it gets bigger. So I could see New York policymakers being comfortable with a program that compensated the developer for what he needs, but was tied to the wholesale price so that the ratepayer in the end was protected from the risk of severely overpaying over the term of the agreement. And whether you call that a feed-in tariff or an SREC, I'm not sure that it really matters, but I think that's an issue that our policymakers are very sensitive to.
Okay. So moving on from there, I'd like to ask Alex just to discuss a little bit of what, assuming that we're going to be looking at some kind of SREC-based program, what has worked in other states and what hasn't, what is critical for such a program to work. So we've got your slides here.
Okay, great. I'll try to be quick about it. Yeah, one thing that's unique, I'd say, about an SREC market is that demand is inelastic. Okay, so we're going to do a quick little Econ 101 here. So put on your thinking caps, kids. We're going to fast forward quite a bit, I think. So normally, let's think about, there was, Gil had referenced the iPad situation, and how, Apple's selling their iPad at $500. Well, guess what? Yeah, keep going. Perfect. All right, cool. So that's when Apple is selling your iPad, right? Should look familiar to you. Enter Amazon, enter Samsung. There's a new supply of tablet computers. What happens? Next slide. Supply moves out, and what do you know? The Amazon tablet is $200 instead of $500. Great, okay? That's Econ 101. Let's go to the next slide, please. So in SRECs, the level of demand is fixed, right? So let's say, just for clarity, 1% of a load-serving entity's load must come from sun, right? And the way they're going to do that is they're going to buy 1% of their load via SRECs. So there's no real incentive. Once they get to that level of demand, they don't need 1.5%, so they're not going to keep buying, okay? So basically, another way of thinking about this is that price is going to be really dictated in the market by supply. So, as we saw by the lovely growth charts in New Jersey, what happens when there's more supply coming online? Boom, big price shock, right? You push that curve out a little bit and price comes down real fast. And so that's one of the challenges in addressing any SREC market, is how do you prevent those peaks and valleys, right? And to some extent, that's just part of the market, right? And developers and load-serving entities and all the stakeholders have to sort of plan for those peaks and valleys. But it's hard, right? I mean, because you have constituents and you have homeowners who are saying, well, wait a second, what happened? Last year it was $500–600 and now it's $125. I'm losing a lot of money here. What, and part of the duty that I'd say we all have is to educate people about how this works. But also maybe there should be some way to regulate, either push that demand curve so it has a slope, or maybe pull back on the supply somehow. So that's one thing I wanted to throw out there. Obviously, Sean can talk about this more, but critical components, generally speaking, to SREC markets would be transparency, long-term contracts, an ability to see it around the bend as far as the level of demand and the level of supply. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's good. That's all I'm talking about.
Any of the panelists have anything to add to that?
That's about right.
You don't have to. It sounded about right to me too. Richard, did you want to just take us through an example of how a project gets financed and the role that SRECs play in the financing?
Sure. Sure. I may have a slide on that.
Yeah.
Probably the last slide of the 5 or 6 that I have. So keep going. That is the deal, if you will, in New Mexico. Take a look at it. This is how we basically financed this particular deal, and that is feed-in tariff from the utility at 5 cents with a 3% escalation. The discounted purchase price in this particular transaction, meaning the amount of money that we're looking at here, is $2.7 million. Then you have an ITC contribution, a New Mexico cash contribution, actually as a tax credit, which we sold, and came to the net purchase over first year. Now this is an example of a cash transaction, if you will, the way we initially looked at it. And then we look at the next subsequent years in depreciation values, and we come in with an ROI of about 3.5 years. Okay. Now, to put the PPA together, okay, the calculations change. But the basic thing that we looked at is the fixed revenue coming in from the SRECs, along with an average calculation of the feed-in tariff, and came to a PV value of what the debt calculation that we were comfortable with in this particular situation at $2.1 million. So that's what we looked at for 1.2, and then we simply multiplied that out twice to 3 times to the 5.4.
Can I jump in for a second?
Sure.
So I'm staring here at 10-year SREC rate, right?
Correct.
That's
Yeah, that's
phenomenal,
right.
right? Because you're
Right.
getting long-term contracts, price stability, which flies in the face of my slide that's saying it's like up and down.
Right.
So one thing to consider as policymakers and stakeholders, you know, the way the load-serving entities, who in New Jersey and Massachusetts are the end users of SRECs, they want to balance their exposure to this market. They want to line it up with their power deals, which tend to be 1, 2, 3-year deals. So the notion of getting a 10-year contract, forget about it, unless it's the EDC program, which we love.
And which is being extended.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So those are, you know, and that's a little bit of a hybrid, frankly, between, you know, a 20-year feed-in tariff program and an SREC market.
Yeah.
And that tends to work well.
So there's one point that I do want to bring up that's pretty important, and I think Connecticut program is also kind of a hybrid too. But the original creation of a REC, and I think it was, you can help me through the legal portions of this, but the original institution of a REC was because it solved a legal problem, is that states could not set a must-take price for energy as was ruled by the
I
Supreme
was
Court.
trying to avoid having to talk about that.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, this is may or may not have been cleared up, but that doesn't change the fact that the event happened, and that's why they were kind of created. They solved that problem because you couldn't have a must-take price for energy, and so people said, aha, though, you're not setting a must-take price for energy. First of all, it's market responsive. Second of all, we're not buying energy. We're buying the renewableness of the solar, not the energy of the solar or the wind or the whatever. That's what we're purchasing. And so it solved that problem, and for good or ill, it just was a response to solving a problem. Now you've seen, and I know in Connecticut, I do have a little bit of a crush on that program. I think it's great. I think it's been helpful, and I think it's the new way of thinking about solar and renewable development, especially in the Northeast. We have a fixed pot of money, and you go out and develop. Now they have 15-year contracts, which is the thing that everybody loves about feed-in tariff. It is market responsive, which is the thing that everybody loves about renewable energy credit. And it has a fixed budget, which is the thing that policymakers really, really love. So and I think NYSERDA's program is a chip off that block, and only bigger, grander, bolder.
The only problem that we have with feed-in tariffs is because it is production related. And so therefore it creates a variable. And when you have a variable, okay, you start to have some major problems and considerations as to what the floor is. And you cannot control the feed. Oh, nice.
Nature.
Thank you, Lord.
Obviously, he doesn't believe in feed-in tariffs.
Heard from on high. Mike Winka has spoken.
It's not just a legal problem.
That's right. that's a major problem that we have on the financing side, is that, and we can't control the way that the money is paid.
Which is weird, you're the first financier that I've ever heard say they don't like being there.
Well, it's a
Well, it
matter
depends
again
how you
of
design.
viability and risk. And we're risk averse. And by the way, if we have an SREX, which will vary on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, we arbitrage those, we sell them. If you will, take huge losses on it and put the responsibility